Okay, uh, so now what comes next? Well, let's make a new project. Actually, I'm going to copy because I don't want to do all of that over again. So let's duplicate simple automation number 3. That's not quite what we want to do. We want to give our robot a state. So add state to robot. Let's duplicate that. And let's open it up. Okay, so this is where we left off. I'm going to take out the debugging for now. And by state, what do I mean by state? By state, I mean what state is the robot currently in? So let's create a variable robot state. And then I'm going to create some states for the robot to be in. So let's do this. Oh, let's do this. Let's see, caps. I'm going to make them all uppercase. So one state is going to be nothing. It's not doing anything. And nothing is going to be 0. Next one is going to be moving eyes. That'll be a 1. And the next one is going to be blinking. I'm going to add that back in. And let's make that a 2. Now, here's the thing that I want to do in terms of making things random, having random things happen. I want to create a list of different states that can happen. And let's move this around. Okay, and the state I'm going to start out in is going to be nothing. But now I want to choose randomly the next state to be in. And the way I'm going to do that is with an array. And I'm going to rename it from list because that's a little too generic for me. You can tell by the variable names, I do not do generic. I will do X if and if and only if it is the X coordinate. Otherwise, I'm using a good name, a long name. Okay. And I'm going to call this, should be uppercase. Is it? Yep. Robot states with an S. So I've got robot state and I've got robot states with an S. So one is the current state, robot state. Robot states with an S is going to be all of the possible things it can do. And I'm going to add some more spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, here's Sophie. Sophie woke up. Hello, Sophie. Glad you could join us. It's not the same when Sophie's not here. Henry's still sleeping. All right. So what types of states do I want to be in? So I want to do a blink about 10% of the time. And I've got these, there's 10 of them, so that's 10%. I want to move the eyes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 40% of the time. and I want to do nothing, stay where you are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50% of the time, 10% blinking, 40% moving the eyes, 50% doing nothing. So you might be wondering, okay, how are you actually going to use that thing now? All right, let's look at that. Let's collapse that down. All right. I'm going to put blink over here because blink and move eyes are two of the things that we can do. So when we get to 0, like we saw last time, we're going to reset the counter, and we're also going to choose the next robot state to be in. So robot state is going to be, thank you for resolving that error for me, it's going to be random value, get random value from robot states. Okay, that was nice that MakeCode knew there was only one array, so it should choose that instead of making me get rid of list again. All right, now here comes the fun part. If our robot state is equal to blinking, which is one of our robot states we just created. Now you'll notice it doesn't matter what the numbers are. I could number them any way I want as long as they're unique, because I'm not actually using those numbers anywhere at this moment. I am just going to compare them. So I could have used characters, I could have used numbers, obviously, but I could have numbered them differently. So if we're blinking, we want to call blink. We'll need to make some changes to blink in just a minute. What other state is there that we created? Another state that we created was blinking and moving eyes. If the eyes are moving, we want to call move eyes. And there's another one, doing nothing. Where are you? There you are. Okay, we don't need the else for right now. Okay, so call blink. We need to change blink. And blink is currently doing this. And we need to do that a little bit differently because we now have this idea of a counter. So if the counter is 0, movement counter equals 0, that's our initialization thing that we need to do. And in this case, we're going to call eyelids down. We're also going to set final count. Oh, that's the wrong block entirely. I've got your tail. I've got your tail, kitty. She doesn't care. Final count is going to be set to, what do I want to set it to? I'm going to try 15 again. So I'm going to set the eyelids to going down. We don't need that weight, but we do need eyelids up. So halfway through this, we want to go eyelids up. Okay. So when we get to 8, which is halfway through, 0 through 15 is 16 numbers, so there really isn't a half. I'm going to use 8 anyways. I'm going to start moving the eyelids up. And that's all there should be to it. So we may need to come back to this. We'll test it, see how it works. But I think that does what we want it to do. We are not doing the eyelids proportionately simply because we need them to move as fast as they possibly can. That's what eyelids do. They move fast. That's why they call it in the blink of an eye. Okay. Move eyes should work just fine. Nothing. We need a function called nothing. Do something? Nope. Let's call it do, but we don't need to shout. Let's call it do nothing. All right. And let's grab our if statement. I'm going to cut and paste a little bit, or copy paste. So we want our movement counter. When our movement counter equals 0, we're going to set our final count to 10. And we're just going to sit there and do nothing. So that's our do nothing. So we've got our blink, we've got our move eyes, we've got our do nothing. And so we need to call this do nothing. So depending on the state, we're going to call the right routine, the right function to handle that each time we go through that based on the state. Okay. And when we get to where we've done the full thing, whether it be blink, move eyes, or do nothing, we're going to do something else, and we'll get a random value from the number of robot states we have. And these robot states are set up so that we have an error, okay, 1 out of 10, right? So each of these represents 10% of the time. All right. Let's collapse that. Let's see if we still have an error. Do we have an error? It looks like we don't have an error now. It said we did. Anybody? Okay. Let's go ahead and try that. All right, download it. There we are. Unplug. Plug it in. Let's see what this does. Oh. He still looks a little weird. You're a little unusual there, guy. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Let's see, what do we want to actually change? I think he blinks his eyes too much. What do you think? And the way we would change that is by adding more stuff. I think we can get rid of these. Oh, I forgot to turn them off. We're not watching you anymore. Let's get rid of these. And collapse this block. Now we'll look at this. And I'm going to create a function because this is getting a little bit large. And I'm going to call my function initialize robot states. Some people would say init. I don't see any reason to shorten it. You're not saving much by shortening it. So here's where we start working with our different states. So let's put that in there, and we will call it from here. There we go. And let's go ahead. We'll put this up here. Let's go ahead and create another function. Initialize constants. And what we want is this portion right here. That's our constants. This is where we set the i's. That's fine the way it is. I was thinking about changing it, but I'm going to leave it as is. Keep doing that. Keep clicking on the wrong thing. I want to call it. And that has to be go before I use any of the constants. So eyelids up, that's defined here. Eyelids left, center. Okay, that looks good to me. So I've broken it up a little bit. And now I've forgotten what it was we were doing. Let's go back and see where we're at. Oh, yeah. He looks a little dizzy, doesn't he? Oh, my goodness. Dry eyes. All right. I can see what we need to do next. Okay, so I'm going to end the video here because shorter videos seem to work out better. And I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.